Hi, this is Steve from Sariti Consulting, and we're just going to do a little walkthrough of how to use Pion to create the Apdex score as a real user monitoring performance KPI for your website. This is a companion piece to an article on the Sariti Consulting blog. So this is also like a great example of the flexibility of Pion and how you can use Pion to pretty much generate any kind of analytics you want, whether it's straight web analytics or performance analytics in this case. So there are effectively four elements to this solution. I have a transformation reactor which I use to assign a page load time into one of four Apdex categories of satisfied, tolerated, or frustrated. I then use an aggregation reactor to count those categories. I use a little bit of Python to do the Apdex calculation, and then I put this into another aggregation reactor that I can use to create the dashboard graphs you'll see in a minute. So before I do this, I actually just need to create a little bit of custom vocabulary in Python, an Apdex category, which is a string, a custom event, and the Apdex score, which is a real number, so a float basically. Jump back to the reactors. Let's take a quick look at each one. Transformation reactor. I want to put the end result into the Apdex category term. I'm using a rules-based transformation. I have three rules to assign a page load time of less than 1 second or 1 million microseconds to the status to have a value of satisfied. If it's between 1 second and 4 seconds, has a value of tolerated, and if it has greater than 4 seconds, it has a value of frustrated. I then count these terms in an aggregation reactor. I'm counting it in 1 minute buckets for 60 minutes. If I use the unique aggregation, Pion will automatically count every unique value that it sees. So I know that I only have three values, the satisfied, tolerated, and frustrated that you saw before. So the output of this will be three events that will have a count for all the occurrences of those values, satisfied, tolerated, frustration, in that 1 minute interval. And of course I could change that interval to whatever I wanted. Then there's a little bit of custom Python to actually do the calculation. I actually just store it in an index so that I can aggregate these, do the calculation on the three separate events. And thanks to Jackson from Atomic Labs for the help with the Python there. And then I just pipe it out here into another aggregation reactor using this time actually looking at the Apdex score, and that's just a way that I can make sure that I can graph on it. So if I come over here and have a look at the dashboard that's created, I can see here I've got my my Apdex score going up and down from the perfect score of 100. Once I start to see some load coming in, I start to see my Apdex score go down. So for that period, my Apdex score was 69. Technically, this should be between 0 and 1, so it would be 0.69. And I probably should round it off, but this is good enough as a proof of concept. So from an operations point of view, I can have my Apdex score up there on the plasma screen on my dashboard. I can quickly look across here to the number of page views, and I can see, what's the correlation between the number of the amount of activity that's happening on my site. And I can also come over here and have a quick look at the variables for the page load times, the upper and lower quartiles, or half, whatever that is, and the data start time sort of values over here. So this is just an example of how you could use Pion to create something like this. It's a real user monitoring solution for a fraction of the price that you'd normally pay. And yeah, if you have any questions, post a comment over on the blog or post a comment here on YouTube. Thanks very much. Hope this was useful.